What was your reaction to the seed and the field that you guys drew?
Well, excited. Number one, like I know you see from our guys' reaction as Hank posted it, guys fist pumping and excited to be recognized as a national seed. And again, like I said before, I felt it was much deserving for what these guys have accomplished, who they are, how they've responded to both good times and bad times throughout the entirety of the year, and putting in all those miles that they did. So obviously we talked about this earlier on in the year, that we may have been on the road, but we've busted our butts to have the opportunity to play the important games at home, and the weather looks outstanding, and so just absolutely thrilled, number one, to continue the pursuit of our goal and win it all, and we get to start that path here at home, so thrilled.
Historically, you've kind of stuck with your guys rotation-wise, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You don't save a guy or anything like that. Is that your intention, to just go like you've been going?
Well, I mean, as we're continuing to look at our opponents and line those things up, and having this last weekend that we did with scrimmages and keep guys, give them the touch that they needed to get out there, but also, not push them too much. We do have flexibility to move some things around. I liked what I saw from the scrimmages. I loved the engagement with our fans and the movie night and this autograph signing and the home run derby. I felt bad for the guys putting up the scaffolding over here too. I think they took a break during the home run derby so that they weren't get drilled by one of Weber's missiles. But I think we're going to figure that out here this evening, of like the direction we're going to go. But I think all those guys are well rested, and the guys that needed to get work on a few other things, we put up. I mean, every scrimmage we did, we had runners on base every inning. We're just trying to create a little bit more chaos, even in a lighter touch and a controlled environment, to make sure we're prepared, because we do know that each of these teams likes to create a little chaos. They run the bases, they put the ball in play. They got guys that can swing and create action. So we need to be ready for all those situations, and not doing it at a tournament and 108 degrees was nice, and doing it here at home and engaging with our fans was a big high point for us too.
You had talked about kind of the base paths as an issue kind of after the Oregon series, and wanting to get guys out of settling into a rhythm on the bump. Okay. I'm curious, how have you seen that improve over the past couple of weeks?
It's been good. I mean, just a lot of learning moments, especially with this last weekend's scrimmage. I mean, it's been going on since. Anytime something happens, we tend to do film review on it, pull it out to practice, use it in our early work, and mix it in throughout what drills we're using throughout practice. And I was encouraged. We still have some growth that needs to happen in its entirety, but a lot of guys are taking it on. When I'm watching their bullpens, they're visualizing those situations as they're executing pitches, and that was a lot of my notes. I'm sitting by pitchers in the dugouts quite a bit, and we're saying, hey, what do you see? Is he doing it well? What can he work on? What kind of looks is he mixing with the runner at first? Is he executing the pickoffs the right way? How's the body language? Just all those things come into play. And you're still going to get bumps and bruises. We had one guy who went out, wasn't executing strikes. He gave up a big hit, and then he kind of let that spiral a little bit. And so we use that again as a learning moment, knowing that there's always growth for each and every one of us, and we haven't quite accomplished all that yet. And fortunately, we still have some time.
You probably haven't done a mountain of scouting yet, but how would you describe TCU and what they bring?
I don't know, you can probably see from my eyes, I didn't get a ton of sleep last night because I just wanted to start getting the prep going. But each of those squads, again, like starting off with St. Mary's, and they got some guys that they have a lot of like sacrifice bunts. They have their leadoff guy, Madrigal, he's having an outstanding year, and then some. A lot of homers, a lot of runs scored, getting on base. They do a good job moving guys over. Their offense, day in and day out, has put up a ton of runs. They got a couple guys that have in the high teens of hit by pitches, or 20s in the hit by pitches as well. And so they're finding ways to get on, move runners, and create some chaos. And they got a handful of arms that can produce a lot of shutdown innings as well. TCU obviously has a lot of big arms. Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Is that one sneeze or two?
It's my third, actually.
There's a lot of guys. Everyone's dealing with allergies right now. It's coming in strong. So we'll see how the opponents handle that when they get into town too. We've been used to the grass seed and all that. But again, TCU, they. I'm gonna get back to it.
It's easy to get distracted. I was just helping you out.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. A lot of big arms, offense as well. They a ranked opponent, and they're in that position. Anyone in the field of 64 right now, and then some, are really good teams, and they're in the postseason for a reason. There's been times that we haven't been, a host or a national seed, and still been a big threat when we're going into the postseason. We talked back about how it was in 2007. Like, we barely got in the door, and then we rolled through the tournament. So it's about getting hot at the right time. It's about confidence. It's about execution, and responding to unfortunate events. If a guy misses a play or doesn't let it happen, I saw that just scouting some of the games. Something bad would happen, and it would spiral into a 4 or 5 run inning. And so it's being able to eliminate those things, slow the game down, and really soak in being there for the guys next to you, minimizing damage, and when given the opportunity, putting up big runs on offense, taking advantage of when the opponent's not executing.
So you got the picture of the field outside Omaha on the video screen. I'm not sure if you knew
Was that
or
you're
not.
doing?
Yeah.
I don't know how to work any of the tech up there. I usually have to hit up Hank or Brad and say, can you do something cool? Because I don't know all the buttons.
So is that your idea?
Oh, no, that's not me.
No.
It's a great graphic, though.
Yeah.
Or
How does
motivation.
that serve as motivation, kind of heading into this weekend and hopefully next weekend? But also, too, how do you set the expectation of, one game at a time, and you can't get there unless you handle business this weekend, specifically in game 1?
Yeah, we drove by the stadium when we were out there, playing in Nebraska, too. And, we didn't win that series.
Purposely? Did you take a detour by this?
Well, it's right next to the airport, so might as well swing by and get a little vision going. But the graphic, I didn't ask to get it put up there. I think it's a nice little touch. But the focus is, how are we going to execute our catch play and our defensive work and our picks and rundowns today, and making sure that our batting practice is line drive focused, and you can never get there. And it's not even getting there that bothers me, just thinking about getting to Omaha. If you could win it, and if you're thinking of anything less than that, then shame on you for not setting your expectations high enough. It's most times people don't set their expectations that high because they haven't dreamt on it and visualized themselves holding it up and knowing it's possible. And also, it can be a scary thing to not accomplish that and to feel the hurt that comes with it. But through those things, that's what makes us better in life, is the journey. And everything around here should remind you of greatness and winning it all. I'm looking at the door behind you. You got Maddie Boyd, celebrating, and you go walking through any tunnels and you see the imagery that's been done here in the past. And I want these guys to go out and create their own image of greatness. Obviously, our history tells us a lot and inspires us to go out and do great things and creates high expectations. But I think the expectations of those guys in the clubhouse and our coaching staff is even greater than it's ever been before. And so now it's our job to go out and execute, play with confidence. And if a cool graphic on the Jumbotron is nice, then if it motivates one, then that's perfect.
Building mindsets is so important. And it's intense when it comes to playoffs, but you want to keep your boys loose. You want to have some swagger. So how is that important in creating amongst the team too?
Yeah, you gotta go out and play loose. If you're trying not to mess up, you will definitely mess up. And so, again, this last weekend, how we communicate, and it's for us as coaches to also show, excitement, joy, and the right kind of intensity as opposed to pressing. So usually in rough times, I'll pay very close attention to even how I'm talking. If I'm getting overly anxious. Am I getting sleep myself? Which, we'll make sure we work on this week. Because you want to show up exuding confidence yourself as a coach, and then you expect that to be shown by your players as well. But also knowing that, for some guys, this is their first regional. This is the first time, especially with added seats over in left center, that they're going to be like in that kind of atmosphere on the weekend. And, it's win or be done. And so there's added, pressure that some people can put on themselves. And so like tomorrow when we sit down in the classroom, or a lot of the things that we talk about are going to be keeping them in the present moment. That's why we've been doing mental skills with ZT since they showed up in the fall, is learning how to control the breath, learning how to get it excited the right way for a moment, and continuing to visualize success and not letting those other ugly thoughts creep in. And if they do, and which they most likely will for everybody, it's learn how to shut them down real quick and be like, I don't have time for that.
Thinking back to the fall, you said you were happy to trade the home games then to get them now. I'm curious, was it gratifying to get that top 8 and know, if you handle business, you get to keep playing baseball here?
I don't know if I was necessarily happy about.
I was going to say, what was it
love
like
to play every
when you
game
were on the
at
road?
yeah. But knowing that this is what it's going to take, if this is the route that is required for us right now to do so, no one's even thinking or complain. No one complained all year, and no one's even reflecting back on, man, that stunk. Like, why do we have to? No, it was like that's what it took. And think of the good times that we had on the road, in the conference rooms or on the bus, and some of the goofy stuff that these guys think of to do with some of the downtime.
Anything you'd like to share?
No, we're good. That's why on the bus I don't like phones out on the bus. In the clubhouse, I don't want phones in the clubhouse. Like, that's their personal time to share stories and create memories. Especially if we're doing slam poetry on the bus, and it's best no one else. Like, sometimes you just say some silly stuff, and so it's best to just keep it in house for those guys to know it. Those are the memories. Like we talked about the other day, getting to hold up the trophy is a special thing. And having that ring, I don't think anyone's ever seen me wear my World Series rings around, because it wasn't about the ring. I remember more than anything of the relationships that we created here, and what it felt like, and knowing that you have that family for the rest of your life, as opposed to necessarily a piece of hardware. So it's never about the material things, and I know these guys focus a lot on the relationships as opposed to the stuff that they get.
We asked all your players this. Did you do anything fun the last few days? Like, you guys didn't have to play in a conference tournament. So.
Well, you asked them what they
Well, they
say.
went. Some of them went golfing,
They did?
fishing.
They said no, they were all business.
Yeah, right.
24 hours a day.
They're
What
giving
about
out
you?
bus cuts.
Did you do anything
A
fun?
lot of haircuts going through there every day. Show up and someone else has got their head shaved. No, he didn't yet, but I'm sure he'll be showing
Next
up
up.
soon. Yep. But it's just fun. They're like starting anew, and like the mentality of just doing it all together has been fun. Obviously, the movie night, I saw a guy stick around and watch Sandlot with some of the kids out there. Found a lot of silly putty on the and popcorn in the turf, which we spent some time cleaning up. It's part of having kids. And then, one of the days last week after practice, we had a couple really good workouts, and then we took the guys all over to a par 3 course and had a little competition as well. So, sometimes we did it last year. Took the guys bowling one day. Like, okay, today's going to be a tough day of workouts at the bowling alley. We're going to go in there and knock over some pins. But it's finding balance, teaching the guys how to not overwhelm themselves with just the baseball stuff. This is a great experience for them. We did it in college. We went fishing all the time. We did it in Omaha. In the mornings we grabbed some of the extra food from the buffet and put it on a hook and try to go catch carp. Not that we were ever going to eat that, but I think it's important to have some balance in your life, some distraction, knowing how hard they all work here too. It can keep you up at night, and so and right now, what's encouraging is there's not a lot of great golfers on our
We've
squad, which is great. That means they're so focused on the baseball stuff. If they were getting too good on the golf course, I would begin to worry where we putting all of our time and effort into. But they're handling the stuff in the classroom really well. I mean, this last quarter we had our highest GPA that I can ever remember as a squad, and The fact that the golf game's down shows that they're working their butts off on the baseball field. And, it's just today. Guys want to come in and sit down and watch video. And so they're continually trying to get better right now, not cramming for the test. They've been doing this all along, so it's just sticking with their plan, their routines, and the thought of, I want to get better, and I'm going to get better. Like, let's find the answers together. So.
When you look at what Nelson did last year in that high leverage role and the kind of versatility he's had this year, starting and coming out of the pen, like how much of an asset is he?
Sorry, say that one again.
Him being an asset.
Who though?
Nelly.
Oh yes. Well, it's been great. Like, number one, like getting him to jump in as a starter early on, the routine that can go with that, as opposed to being in the pen, not knowing when am I going to throw. So it's taught him a lot too about how to handle each situation. He started in high school, yes, and coming into college, working out of the pen, and those back end innings are always, you got to be a little bit, cuckoo to come in the fire, like we call them firemen. The bell rings, you got to get out there and you got to put out the fires and you got to handle your job, save lives. Right? And it's a huge job and doesn't get enough respect for that role too, because it has to happen. The expectations are get the job done. But for him to be able to start, work on that routine, take care of his body, and to watch like how his secondary stuff has developed, and a lot of conversations. Now there's been more chaos throughout the entirety of the game with runners on base, so it's taught him a lot about controlling the running game and opening his eyes to a lot of those other things. And when Eric was working out of the pen too, now he's working on the back half of the game when he didn't have to do that before. It was, the first 5-6 innings. Now let's throw him in the fire a little bit so he can see the chaos that comes with that. So again, it's character development, it's baseball development, and sometimes we have to create like some uncomfortable situations, some new pieces of the puzzle so that they can learn, and that's exciting. And now him being back down there, when is he ready to go? All the time, right? And that's a really big arm to have, whether or not it's coming in right after a starter or if he's not used to be able to start a game and be built up for that. So it's like the way of the game right now is guys being able to do anything and everything it takes to be successful.
Do you envision sticking with the piggyback idea there, or because of the nature of regionals and stuff, you will spread them out?
Everything like this weekend is win this game.
Okay.
So
there's flexibility.
Yeah, and really the plan all along wasn't necessarily piggybacking. We know we have guys built up, and so if we have a long stretch in there, that's a great time to do it, depending on the score of the game and where we think our offense is going, what they're doing with us as well. But also, like what Eric and Nelson and Queen and Oaksy can do, Leif. Those guys can come in and go long. They can come in and get an inning of much needed outs in a tough part of a lineup. And if you keep guys short, then you get to use them the next day or the day after. And so there'll be a lot of thought put into when we're using a guy, where at specifically we're using him, continuing with our momentum and shutting the door if needed. But then it just comes down to execution. But I think right now all of our guys, you tell me which day I'm starting, I'm ready. You tell me when you need me out of the pen, and I'll be ready. That's the point now. All the guys know there's no stats right now other than like one, winning and losing. Doesn't matter if you go 0 for 5. If we win, it's a heck of a game, baby. So I guess that's the beauty of the postseason. It's never, and I don't think this group ever really worried too much about stats. Look at Dallas has not statistically had a great year, and the enthusiasm that he comes with each and every day, and the work ethic that he has, and the respect that his whole team has for him, it's incredible. We voted. We have an award we are now giving out. It's called the Shoe. It's after our weight room out there is we call it the Shoe. It's after Ed Schuholm. And we gave out that award the other day, and it was voted on by his peers and our coaching staff, and Dallas was the winner of that award. A guy who shows dedication, hard work, like true grit, like a lunch pail guy who shows up to work each and every day, and that says a lot about who he is. And other guys who may have had that similar year statistically Like, do you think they're going to go out and everyone's going to go dive for a ball like he does, or be ready to come off the bench, or spend late nights in there and continue to smile and give to others? It's not an easy thing to do, but he is living proof that that can exist, and he's a special human being. There's no doubt about it.
Last one.
We talked to Dax and Kleinschmidt earlier, and you touched on it, but just having guys who are new start games that could be deciders, could be, how do you what do you want to see from them this week to prepare for the energy and, just to prepare for this moment as, newcomers?
Well, I mean, there's a handful of different approaches. You can just throw absolute chaos at them all week, so by the time they're in the game, they're kind of a little more numb to it. There's also, if you do it the wrong way and show panic, then it can spread real quick. Or if you burn them out by the weekend, they're all drained from the whole thing. I think going into the postseason, it is about focus. It is about grit. It is about communication and that bond again that they've created all year. That's why you work so hard for it, because that's when it's put to the test. Is the postseason, the win or go home mentality. And again, from personal experiences, when we went through that in 06, working our way through the losers bracket, like, you woke up every day with your bag packed, not knowing if you were going home or not. And the type of character that you had, there ain't no chance you sending us home right now, and you would do whatever it took to get the job done, because you wanted to unpack that night and hang out with your guys one more day. And so it's, again, these are all things that we don't hide from talking about. That way, when they're in the moment, they're not sped up by it. And this isn't the first time we've had the conversation. We can remind them of those things that we've talked and worked for all week. So a lot of this week is, cleaning up some of the things that we need to work on, but also, making sure that we're not drifting away from what has got us to